Okay, so we're recording. Thank you for joining me, Randa. So I figured I would just, we're having some of these interviews around kind of what is like the consumer sentiment around home buying, right? Because there's a lot of like doom and gloom headlines, and we're hearing a lot of, people are waiting to buy a house, no one's selling. We're in this like lockdown, freeze down, whatever people are calling it. And so I'm just trying to get like a really good understanding from um mortgage folks, home builders, consumers, kind of what their take on it is. So, Randa, thank you for kind of coming on and like answering some of my questions.
Yeah.
You're a mortgage professional from
Right.
A&N Mortgage. And do you want to just tell me like a little bit about yourself before we kind of dive in?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in San Diego. So I've been in Southern California my whole life. I worked in the financial industry for a while with Wells Fargo for almost 5 years, and then found myself in the mortgage industry. So I've been doing that for the last little over 2 years. So I kind of got in right when interest rates were around 2.5, 2.75%.
Mm-hmm.
And they've jumped basically 6% since I started. So I've seen the rise in interest rates and kind of the slowdown of the market in the beginning of my career. So yeah, happy to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, one thing, because I have been talking to like other like Gen Z folks, right? So you're 25. So I
Mhm.
want to I want to ask just personally for you first, like, are you, what is your being like a in the industry professional, right? So you kind of know everything that's going on, but
Mhm.
also being, 25, and are you planning on buying a home? Like, how is your mindset around buying a home right now?
Yeah, so before getting into the industry, I honestly didn't know much around like the benefits of real estate, home ownership, minimum down payment, any of that stuff. I wasn't
Mhm.
super familiar. So I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of people, and just by the people I've met, I've seen stories of building generational wealth and really just making passive income while having another job just through getting into real estate. And so I am renting right now because I'm still, like I said, in the beginning part, couple years of my career, but my goal is in the next 5 years to own a house, hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah.
Um, just because, yeah, I've learned and seen firsthand the benefits of home ownership. And even though like we talk about affordability getting less and stuff like that, it is something that is totally possible. You just have to plan for it. So that's in the stage I'm in right now, is planning to buy my first house.
Okay, cool. Yay, 5 years.
Yes.
Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully sooner.
Do you like how do you help your clients? So, because I've heard that Kaylee had said that before too, right? So another Gen Zer, she's saying, we want her and her husband, they want to buy a home. They just have to really plan for it. And so she's trying to figure out right now how to plan for it. So
Right.
how do you help your clients essentially plan and get educated to
Yeah,
buying
so
a
I
home?
would say the first step would really be to meet with a mortgage lender so they can take a look at your finances. So the three things that we mainly look at is income, assets, and credit. So, some people are great in the income department, some people need work on their credit. So I have a lot of resources, and especially with my background in banking, I have a lot of tips and tricks on how to like increase your credit score or build credit if you don't have any fairly quickly. And then also just like I said, seeing where people are at financially, how much debt they have, how much money they have saved. Kind of those three things is what plays a part. So whichever category they need to work on, I guide them in that direction. And then as far as people that are like ready to go, I like to kind of work backwards. So figuring out what monthly payment they're comfortable with, because when we see things like home prices and high interest rates, it can be intimidating. But if we work backwards and figure out like what's your monthly payment that you would be comfortable at, and then we can see what purchase price and what interest rate and things like that can fit under that budget.
Right. Okay, cool. And then like you're Gen Z, but are a lot of your clients like who's coming to you looking to buy a house right now?
Honestly, kind of all over the place. I
Okay.
do have some Gen Z, but I would say it's more like millennial and kind of older than that. And I think it probably has to do with just like a lack of education or a lack of financial planning.
Finances. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cause I keep hearing like Gen Z is the future like home buyer, which I mean, that makes sense
Yeah.
because like the elder Gen Z folks are your age, right? 25 or 26, and they're planning on it.
Hmm.
It's just they're probably not quite ready, but why not start like mortgage lenders, home builders?
Yeah,
Why
like
not
I
start
work with
educating?
people. Yeah, like I'll work with people even 2 years out from buying a house just so they
Okay.
can get an idea of what their finances look like now and what they might have to work on within those 2 years.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then like what are your clients, are they what is their overall like sentiment? Are they like gung ho? Are they anxious? Are they like kind of, nervous around pulling the trigger because the mortgage rates? Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, I would say especially in my initial like conversations with people, it's
Mhm.
a lot of nervousness and anxiety or even just not knowing, kind of like you said, like not wanting to pull the trigger right just yet.
Mhm.
Um, but I think there's a lot of other factors that goes into that, like inflation, high interest rates, high home prices, like all of it is kind of scary. But what I've been finding is just having those deeper conversations and really educating people around like minimum down payment. A lot of people don't know that as a first time buyer, you can only put 3% down. A lot of people think it's 5, 10, or 20%. So even just the education around that and then breaking down what their monthly payment looks like, especially in compared to rent.
Mhm.
Usually once I have those conversations with people, they get more excited and they're more willing to pull the trigger. And then also just education around what's going on in the market when you're looking to buy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you're focused on San Diego market for the
Kind
most
of
part?
all over. I would say mainly focused on San Diego, but the company I work for is actually based in Chicago, so I'll do business in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And we're licensed in 20 states. So I am actually, that's something kind of a point of conversation around a lot of younger home buyers is maybe buying their first place out of state even because
Mhm.
home prices are a little bit more attainable.
Right. And that's why I asked because I always like I'm in San Diego, you're in San Diego, so I'm always like it's going to be like really hard, but it's all
Right.
relative, right? Like,
It's all relative. And even, I mean, if you really wanted, you could stay living in San Diego and put a 20% down payment in a place like South Carolina, which is, same price as a 5% down payment here, and you can be making passive income over there. So it's just an education doesn't necessarily mean that you have to move somewhere different, but it's putting your money in a place that can maybe make you money back.
yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. Well, thank you so much for hopping on and giving us kind of your insight. I would love to like talk to you again about, you know, maybe in 3 months or like six
Yeah,
months or like spring, right? Like when maybe things mortgage rates go down a little bit and
totally.
buying maybe picks up, maybe. I would love to hear kind of what people are saying then too.
Yeah, I would love to come back.
Okay. Thank you, Randa.
Thanks.